What is the fluid analysis that you do? What is the importance in predictive maintenance around, lubricant and fluid analysis?
Let me share a story with your listeners. I had a maintenance officer that was just very dedicated and believed strongly in the value of fluid analysis. And I would see him receive these reports from the laboratory. At that time, it was mostly concentrated on oil analysis reports. But he would study these reports and he would use that information to help prioritize maintenance activities. So sure enough, he sent me to the lab, and the lab technician, after introductions, showed me a 3-ounce bottle of oil, and it was a new, fresh, unused oil. He took a little bit of the oil out of the bottle, put it through the spectrometer. Spectrometer done its thing, and it finally printed out a data sheet. And the technician walked back over to me and handed me that sheet. And he said, "Take a look at this. Tell me what you think." So I looked at it, and across the top of the sheet, it had a bunch of different categories such as iron, chromium, lead, tin. Underneath each category was a series of numbers. I said, I just don't understand what this means. He said, "I actually expected that reply." And he asked me if I had a penny in my pocket. I said, "Yeah, I've got a penny." He said, "Well, pull it out and take the penny and rub it between your finger and thumb." While I was doing so, he walked back over to the spectrometer and grabbed that bottle with the remaining oil in it. And he said, "Now, using your finger that you rubbed the penny with, I want you to stir the oil." So I did so. He then took the oil back over to the spectrometer, took the remaining oil in the bottle, ran it through the spectrometer again, printed out another sheet of data. He carried that sheet over to me. He said, "Now I want you to compare the first sheet I gave you to the second sheet." And lo and behold, guess what I saw? I saw an increase in copper and an increase in sodium. Now think about that. Just from rubbing that penny and then stirring the oil, it was able to detect the copper from the penny off my finger, plus the sodium, the sweat, if you will, off my finger. And I got to tell you, I was absolutely sold on the value after that, because through that little exercise, if it could detect that copper and that penny and the sweat off my finger, just think how early it can detect the earliest stages of abnormal wear in our components. Today's technology is so much better, and we move beyond even in oil analysis, just looking at component health, but we look at lubricant health. And looking at the lubricant health helps us determine the proper drain intervals for our equipment, making sure we're not wasting money by draining oil too early, but at the same time, not making sure we're not pushing that drain interval out so far that acids are building in our lubricants and causing damage to components. We also use oil analysis to look at contaminants in the oil. Contamination of oil, whether it's dirt in the form of silica, reported as silica, can just be detrimental to the component life hours. We can look at coolant, fuel, grease. All these play such a vital part in reliability, and that opportunity to move from a preventative maintenance approach where we're doing things on time-based to moving to a predictive maintenance approach where we're able to monitor the data, say, everything looks fine, let's keep running it, to that point that we see now it's time to schedule it for a service or some sort of component repair.
We think so much about the today. We think so much about like being able to produce product today, but we forget about the $1 million that we have invested in this asset and being able to extend that lifetime by, 2x, it's essentially, doubling the value that we get from this asset.